I would tell you, and then particularly those of you that have been around for a while, I hope you see the difference in NASCAR over the years of us trying to be more clear, more precise about rules and regulations in the event that if something isn't correct in the inspection process and we do react to it, there's less gray than there was in the past, but with all the components in motorsports, and particularly in NASCAR's type of racing, we realize that there's different way to interpret things, and Bill Sr. realized that back in 1948 and had that appeal process as part of our organization. We take, obviously, very serious our responsibility to regulate the sport, but if you're going to regulate it, you also have to enforce it. And every rule in the rule book has a story behind it or an experience to it. That's how the rule book has been developed over the years, and it'll continue to do it that way. We'll learn every week something that will be applied to us being more relevant and being more precise and be more accurate. We believe in our inspectors. We think that the decision that was made this week supports the inspection process because the elements of the penalty that were upheld indicate that the inspection process or the inspectors did their job correctly. I think the debate over the decision this week was more about the decision after that point of how we reacted to it, and that's as much a bureaucratic decision as it is a competition decision. So we believe very strongly in our inspection process and are very proud of it, and so the inspection process is status quo as we go forward. I would simply say that again, we take very serious our responsibility to regulate the sport in an open way, be professional about the debate around our decisions, whether it's a procedure decision or a rule infraction decision, allow due process so that our community can believe in having a voice or a ear that can, if they feel like they're wronged on something, and then let those due processes take their course and go on down the road. When we react to something, it's for us to react to that, but that reaction also includes a statement, if you will, to protect the integrity, try to maintain the cost we best we can, and the safety of the sport. And that's what NASCAR does. And we defend our actions. We're proud of our inspectors, but we're also proud of our professionalism when it comes to having a due process system that acts as a check and balance. That process and that whole activity is now complete, and we're ready to move on.
Okay, we'll take as many questions as time permits. We'll start right here with Claire.
Claire Beelang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. There's been some criticism of the appellate group and the final appellate judge. Can you address that? And also, if it was after if the officials did their job, what exactly did not hold up? And is there any confusion in the garage as to what is legal or is not legal now with this?
Well, I'm not sure where to start on that list. I think I go back to the fact that I think the decision made this week upholds what's right and wrong when it comes to the inspection process and the things on the car, because there were elements of the penalty that were upheld relative to parts of the car that did not conform to the rules. I'm trying to think of your other questions that you threw out there. You know, I've been involved in the rule book directly for over 20-some years now. And when I first came to the NASCAR side, I was a vice president of competition, and Bill Jr. Was pretty adamant about me understanding all of our processes and rules and regulations. And one of the key parts of that his father made sure he was aware of, and Bill made sure that I was aware of this appellate process because it was important for us to have due process. The appellate group is reviewed every year. I think it's 14-2 where that list of names is listed. It's in the rule book. We don't hide a bunch of guys or gals in a room somewhere and pluck them when we need them. There's a list that's publicly out there as to who that panel could come from. We have a administrator who is a NASCAR employee who manages the appeal process. So when a penalty comes down and a car owner wants to appeal it, they contact him. 3 individuals from that list will be chosen to hear the appeal. That list is made up, and it's 40-some names on that list, but that list is made up of people who are technically inclined, certainly have experience in motorsports, maybe even some have experience in managing a motorsports sanctioning body. So there's a wide range of talent on that list, and we're very grateful and thankful for every one of those members that allow us to put them on that list, and we believe in every one of them. We believe in that group being a very good group to pull from. Most of the time it might have to do with scheduling as to who ends up hearing an appeal. Sometimes it may be the issue itself where we want to put someone there that can understand both sides of the story. Once that process is done, if the car owner doesn't like the outcome of it, the car owner can take it to the chief appellate officer. The chief appellate officer is appointed by the president of NASCAR. The chief appellate officer is appointed and sets until the NASCAR or till the next chief appellate officer is chosen. So that's kind of a little bit of background of the appellate, but we believe in the appeal panel members. We believe in the chief appellate officer. We believe in that process, and that process exists. And we don't, we've been through hearings in the past where our decisions have been altered, but that's what the due process is for.
Is there confusion in the garage?
You'd have to ask the garage.
Okay, our next question will come from Lee, then we'll come up here to Jim, then back to Bob.
Mike, very black and white. You said that the president of NASCAR, which is you, so the buck stops there, that you're the one that chooses the chief appellate officer, being John Middlebrook. The fact that, given Rick's background off the track with his Chevrolet dealerships, shouldn't John Middlebrook recuse himself from that situation, given their relationship competitively, professionally, all of that? I mean, in a unique situation like this, shouldn't somebody else have the final word, not somebody, who's that tightly, close with Rick? So there is no thought of cronyism whatsoever.
Well, let me answer it this way. When we chose John Middlebrook as our chief appellate officer, we chose him based on our experiences with him for several years and his pragmatic approach to business and to his relationship with race teams and with NASCAR. And the reasons that we chose the current chief appellate officer haven't changed. Our opinion and our belief in our chief appellate officer hasn't changed.